Kings and Queens, Your Majesties, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for always returning. Trust you and yours are well, and you are loving yourself and others like always. So the war in Ukraine is moving to Africa, according to some Africans, and the involvement of Putin in the continent of Africa, or the involvement of Russia in Africa is gradually attracting the war in Ukraine into Africa, because when they feel like they need to do something that will affect Russia, they want to attack those that Russia is giving help to in one way or the other. And they look at Africa, because when you look at all these wars, especially world wars that go on, most of the time they tell you, oh, something happened to the King of England and then a First World War broke out, or something happened and the Second World War broke out. When you look into these things critically, all these wars go on because of because of the continent of Africa. Yeah, I say critically, not from the point or the view that the mainstream pushed to you. Look at this war critically, you discover that the reason is because of Africa. Okay, because anybody that succeeds as world power somehow have power over the resources of Africa. And some people have ruled the world and they don't want to leave it to other people, and that's why some of these wars keep coming by day. Okay, whoever wins these wars, whoever gain these powers or the authority of being the world power, have authority over Africa. And when you have influence over Africa, you have influence over the world. Now, why do you think that when a war is going on, both parties will always try their best to get a country or two in the continent on their side? Because all they need for this war to continue or to win the war is in Africa. All the minerals they use to produce bullets, ammunitions, machine guns, all these other deadly weapons they use for battles, where do you think they get them from? They get them from Africa. Yes, it's like as Africans, we don't know that we hold the key to a lot of things in the world, and these people know it. They only try to make you lose hope in yourself, lose hope in your motherland, and then you go and leave the resources for them, and then they come freely and harvest these resources and go away with it. So any power that wins this war, this ongoing war today, have control over the continent. And for them to win this war again, they still need the continent to keep producing ammunition. Because if you are at war and you do not have ammunition to fight this war, of course you'll be defeated. And that's why they are all over Africa, hanging around, Russia hanging around, Europe hanging around, countries in Europe hanging around, America hanging around Africa. They always want to have a hold in the motherland. Let's listen to this analytics. What's his name? Timo Media. He's here on YouTube. He does things like this, talk about geopolitics, and he does well. You can listen to him sometimes.
According to Sputnik Africa, these two guys are trying to destroy Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. Initially, I was confused because I don't know how Ukraine, this Zelensky guy, fit in the picture, because I know, Ukraine is fighting against Russia, and I don't know their interest in Africa. But after reading the whole thing furthermore, I realized that Sputnik is quoting from Burkina Faso. So Burkina Faso is saying that Ukraine is actually helping France, and they are training some soldiers in Ivory Coast. And the intention of training all these soldiers is to use these soldiers against Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. If you doubt what I'm saying, check on Sputnik African platform on Telegram and read everything yourself. It's a long article, but I'll read some part for you. Cameroon News Agency in Ouagadougou, the civil and military authorities took seriously the information that Ukrainian diplomats intend to destabilize Burkina Faso. Ukraine and French agents are training groups of Ivorians and Burkinabés at the base in Kohogo in northern Cote d'Ivoire, near the border of Burkina Faso. Kohogo. I hope I got that right. By the way, I think the message is clear. To know whether a particular information is true or not, we first of all have to analyze the whole information and see. I hope you guys remember during the AFCON, I reported on this same platform, some Burkina soldiers and Ivorian soldiers came together and they crossed the border. They were trying to get rid of Captain Ibrahim Traore. I reported it on this same platform, but rather unfortunate for them, they got rid of all of them. So I am not surprised when I add 1 + 1 and 2 + 2. This particular information makes a lot of sense to me. Ukraine is becoming a problem in Africa here. Somewhere last year, Ukraine promised that they were going to provide better security to Africa more than Russia. I reported it on this same platform. We all laughed about it. Recently, some terrorist attack took place. Was it in Niger or one of the African countries like this? And we find out that Ukraine was involved in this particular attack. And here we are again. Ukraine in Burkina Faso. What exactly does this Ukrainians stand to gain from this particular attack? What is their problem in Africa here? You better focus on your war with Russia. Russia launched over 230 missiles yesterday on Ukraine. You guys should better focus and fight them and leave us alone. Ukraine, what the hell have we done wrong to you? I mean, France make a lot of sense, but Ukraine, I don't get it. I still don't get it. What exactly does Ukraine stand to gain from Africa? What is their problem with us?
Well, Your Majesties, you've heard that. I was smiling when he said that of France we know, but what is the involvement of Ukraine and Africa? Why is Ukraine involved in Africa? And I'm smiling. Okay. Now, when you look at Ukraine is just some innocent region that this same group of people have used. So, of course, they know that Ukrainians will be dealt with. They know Ukraine do not have the power to fight Russia. But they decided to use Ukraine to fight Russia, to get the sympathy of people. So they don't really care about the life of people. They care about the power they gain at the process. Okay? So it's just, Ukraine is just part of the casualties. It's just part of the plan. They just use them, finish them, and then try to get sympathy of the world so that the world calls Putin a tyrant, a bad man, who is sucking out these people, while they are the ones who are up there planning. So it's the same thing. It's the same people who are working. It's the same circle. So Ukraine is part of, what you call him? Zelensky is part of. Now look at, when you look at the history of, or the story behind Zelensky, I don't know if it's true. That says Zelensky, I don't know. There was a video circulating one time. I don't know if most of you saw it. Zelensky was dancing in a party. So if that was Zelensky, and then all of a sudden they took him up, trained him, and then brought him as a president, and boom, immediately we had a war between them and Putin, and boom, they are suffering, boom, they're asking the world, soliciting for help, boom, they are painting Putin as a bad person, and all these things are those people who are behind these things. They are the ones. It's just part of the plan. They are exhibiting their plans. They don't care how many people lose their lives, and then they point you to hate the wrong person. This is what matrix. This is the matrix. This is supremacy action. This is their handwork. It's just everywhere. Okay, so Zelensky and what's his name? What's this? I always forget the name of this guy. This guy in France. This our guy in France. What's that? It's Macron. Okay, Zelensky and Macron are just, they know the game they are playing. They are just answering to their lords, to those who sent them to carry out all these activities. So they are accomplices, and they know how to exhibit it so well. So Ukrainians aiding terrorists in the Sahel, it's not far from the thing, the reality. It's not far, because it's the same people. The same people. Majority of those soldiers that were trained to fight in Ukraine, do you think that majority of them are Ukrainians? You think majority of them are Ukrainians? No. Is this same people who want the war to keep going, that keep supplying now? Tell me. Tell me, why is there a war? There is a war because some group of people wants the war for a reason, selfish interest. Why is it that a war that has been going on for years, even with people dying, is not ending? Because there are people that are fueling it somewhere up there. Those who claim that the world belongs to them, who do not ever want to die, they want to keep living and keep ruling. They are the ones who are in charge of all these problems around the world. And Africa is a center point for them. The more Africa becomes aware of herself and try to pull out, it's going to be bad for them. So they will use every means to destabilize the motherland. You understand me? If we have the Matrix today, the Draconians, we'll be talking about that a long time, about that a long time. If we have these people who are supremacists controlling the world, they never want to die. That is one of their agenda. They want to live forever. We've talked about the Bill Gates agenda in Africa and how he's targeting the ovaries of African women. You watch that video. If you haven't watched that video, check through my videos, you watch them. He targets the ovaries of African young girls, and he uses this egg to create new organs. So they don't want to die. Okay? And they don't want their type to die. So if your heart is failing, they just put you a new heart. And how do they generate that new heart? They generate the new heart through the egg that they got from the women. How did that work? We've talked about that here, where that doctor was exposing a whole lot of things. So they don't want to die, and they want to rule forever. And that's why they started that. Because if you want to live forever and control people, if you want to rule forever, you want to be in the system forever, you obviously want to live forever. So they want to cheat nature. Okay? So there is no we are going to die when we grow old. We will just change our body suit. Okay? We'll just remove this suit and put our soul in another, the alchemy of souls. I told you to watch that movie. You understand what I'm saying very, very well. They remove their soul from the old body and transport it into a new body. The world is messed up. A whole lot of things are majesties. A lot is going on. I just felt like sharing this with you today. Leave your thoughts and opinion there at the section, and I'll see you in my next one. Until then, love yourself, love others, stay safe, stay positive, always, your majesties. Bye for now.